Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The topic of in this video is that seeking of knowledge is an obligation upon all Muslims. The Prophet, peace be upon him, once said, "Talab al-ilmi farizatun ala kulli muslimin." That is, the seeking of knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim, be it a man or a woman. And this knowledge is divisible into the religious knowledge and the worldly knowledge. The religious knowledge includes the Quran and the Hadith and the Ijma, and the worldly knowledge includes biology, physics, chemistry, sciences, arts, etc. Seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim. Some of the Muslims have the habit of differentiating between the worldly knowledge and the religious knowledge, and some people attribute this hadith to only mean that you have to seek the religious knowledge. That is, it is their opinion that you have to learn only the Quran, the Hadith, and the Ijma. That is sufficient for you. This is only an opinion of some persons, and this has nothing to do with Islam. The word used here is ilm, and it means knowledge, and knowledge includes the knowledge of the Quran, the knowledge of the Hadith, and the Ijma, as well as the knowledge of worldly sciences. You have to be scientifically acquainted with the knowledge of the present day in order to thrive in this world and in order to benefit Islam. The Prophet, peace be upon him, allowed the prisoners of the Battle of Badr to be released on the condition that they will teach Muslims how to read and write. It was said that a prisoner will be released if he taught a particular number of Muslims how to read and write. So in this case, there is no question of the fact that the reading and writing that was taught to the Muslims was religious, because this was taught by non-Muslims. So from this hadith and from this event, it is clear that the seeking of knowledge, be it religious knowledge or non-religious knowledge, it is an obligation upon every Muslim, and there is no justification for the fact that you have not to seek the worldly knowledge. Some other people say that this is westernization. Acquiring of English knowledge is westernization. So actually this is not westernization. Knowledge was once with the Indians, and then it was transferred to the Greeks, and then it was transferred to the Muslims, and now it has been transferred to Europe and America. So knowledge is not a monopoly of America or the West. It is a heritage of all people on this planet. We have analyzed the causes that led to the decline and rise of knowledge in different areas of the world in a separate video that's entitled "Science and Technology Are the Saviors of the Muslims and Factors Affecting Development." So the Prophet, peace be upon him, also once said that even if you get hikmah even in your enemy, take it. That is, if there is if there's a thing that is logical which is done by your enemy, then you have to take it. So we have to filter the things that we have to get from West. We have to reject the Western culture, that is pornography, sunbath system, or the other X-rated material that comes from the West. We have to reject all this. We have to reject the fact that the woman has to be treated like an object. We have to reject the fact that women should dress as they like, and we have to reject the fact that women should be naked in the streets as they are in the West. Women can dress as they like, but that does not mean that they will roam about naked. Same is the case for men. Men should also not dress as they like, but they have to dress keeping in view the integrity of their social fiber. This is the right meaning of freedom. So freedom should not mean that you may do anything that disturbs the social order. We have discussed this in a separate video entitled "What is the meaning of freedom?" So these are the things which we have to filter from the West. So we have to take the good things of the West, and we have to leave the bad things. We have to take the science and technology of the West, and we have to leave the culture, anti-Islamic culture that they have. There's also a system in the West of not paying zakat. So there's also a tax burden on the population. So those things we have to abandon of the West. There's also a high rape rate in the West. That is also the thing that is to be avoided by us. There's also high crime in the West, and we have to avoid that. There's individualism in the West. We have to avoid that. There is liberty in the West. Liberty, I mean by liberty, I mean to say that you have the liberty to do anything, whether it is morally good or bad. You have the liberty to do it, but that is not what we have in Islam, and that is not logical. Also, wassalam.